Alright, welcome everybody here to the Juicy Fruit Xfinity Series here for round number 20 here at Daytona International Speedway. This is the cutoff round to conclude the round of 12. 4 will be eliminated, but pretty much 8 will advance, so a lot of drivers are in danger. The only exception is Charles Sandfer here in car number 8. He won Road America there in quite a dominating fashion, but we have a big field of cars here, and beside me is Will Goss.
Hello, everyone. Should be a very fun race here at Daytona. Always is very exciting and jam-packed.
And here it is. The green flag is out. Randy Vanderpoepen will be leading the field down. 40 cars in contention for that victory here. Let's see what these stars can do here under the lights of Daytona.
As they kept it pretty clean going into turn 1 here. And there's a couple 3-wide situations, but for the most part, they're keeping it 2 by 2 as they go down.
Jonathan Zolan at 62 giving Randy Vanderpoepen a nice shot here, but even outfield here, anybody can win. So underfunded cars have a good opportunity to make themselves to the front. Pretty much it's like a lottery game here at Daytona. And already you see some drivers already ducking below that inside groove there. They're already going 3 wide.
Taking it 3 wide into turn 3 here. A lot of these chase drivers are going to have to stay out of trouble here in order to make it out of this round and into the next one, keep their title hopes alive. We'll see how many are going to survive the eventual big one that I'm sure will be coming here.
If we don't get a big one, I'd call it a good race actually for a lot of those drivers and a saving grace in terms of saving money for a lot of these teams here. But looks like Nathan Hudson actually led the first lap of that event there. Randy Vanderpoepen stuck in that middle groove, but look who's on the bottom. Jeffrey Fingai in that number 1 car.
The number 1 has been making moves. We saw him take a dive below the second line there to make that move going into turn 3, and he came out with the lead on the backstretch now.
One of those late replacements to the series here. Jeffrey Fingai has done somewhat of a decent job, though. He's had more success in Dullman than he has here. And there you see his Roush teammate of Keith Batson now looking on the bottom there, the Auto Club winner. Looking very strong with some momentum here. Car number 6 has been one of the more consistent cars on the track.
And these Roush guys have been looking very impressive. They both got up front like very quickly. We're going to see if that 6 is going to be able to hold on to the lead, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like he might give it up here. He's going to lead the lap, though.
Yep, you see Stephen Paul the third already on the inside there, but Luis Hernandez is going to think otherwise. He's going to try and look underneath that Bracklin Chevrolet Camaro there, and Luis Hernandez up to the front.
And Hernandez and Matthews really pushing to get ahead of this field, and Matthews, one of the chase drivers. We'll see if he can make it out of this round unscathed.
Matthews is in pretty comfortable spot here in the point standings. He's actually second in the points coming in here, but even so, you don't want to really underestimate the beast that is Daytona because anything can happen. You see 4 wide action. Looks like Schwallenberg wanted to thread that issue.
Yeah, he's only 25 spots behind, but a bad day here would definitely not help out his chances in moving on. But he seems to be keeping it pretty clean so far, and I think he's going to lead this lap coming up to the line here.
Indeed so. Drew Austin now on the inside there. There's a crash
in the back.
Oh man, we saw a car nearly go upside down there. I think you might have seen that too. Caution is out.
And there's still some trouble up ahead here.
89's in the wall there.
Are they still racing it back green, or it looks like
they're racing it back down. They didn't really take it across the line, but a lot of damage to Seymour Butts in the 40. He's one of our chase contenders there. Emmanuel Hartnett's got a lot of front end damage. His chances could be down the drain. He comes into this race 10th in the point standings here, and that could be very costly for his chances of making it in.
Yeah, with a track like Daytona, aero is very important, so McIntyre, Butts, who is in the chase, and Dalton are surely not going to have the better cars coming up to this next restart here.
Here they come across the line. Looks like it was a very close finish there. Robbie Jackson barely edges out Chris Dodd across that line, but we're going to have to take a look at that replay to see exactly what happened to those cars in the back. We saw a bit of carnage back there, then you saw obviously what happened to Stephen Paul III. I think he got a bit too far up into the marbles there.
And also the 14 of Emmanuel Hartnett was involved as well. He's got some major hood damage, so he's going to be hanging out around the back here.
Yeah, we did notice that in the EJ Wade machine there, but looking at the replay, bit of the helicopter cam in slow-mo. It looks like they were 4 wide in the back there. I think Jesse Dalton pressed the issue a bit too much, and Matt McIntyre had the ride for his life. He rode the wall for quite some time there, but Seymour Butts, nowhere to go. Eli Bright does a good job there, as well as Charles Sandfer. Sandfer might have a little bit of damage out of that, but Emmanuel Hartnett definitely on the worst end of the stick there. besides those cars that got involved in that wreck there, but a lot of front end damage, like you said, on that number 14 car. They're going to have to look under the hood to see if it really damaged the radiator at all.
Yeah, engine damage and aero damage certainly would not help out anyone's day here, especially that number 14 looking to try to move on in the chase here. He's going to have a long road to get out of there. He's sitting in 10th place in points, so we'll see if Eric Rodriguez can get around him. Maybe I think he will in terms of points.
And Seymour Butts is on the bottom of that list as well, so if you wanted to write them out, well, we can't really write them out yet because you never know what could happen here at Daytona. There could be a big wreck, the notorious big one like you mentioned earlier, that could take out a lot of drivers and even championship contenders that are high up in the points standings. But Robbie Jackson, one of those drivers that I believe is really in a solid state right now. He's 5th in the points standings, but he's currently in the race lead in the 5-hour energy machine there for Ryan Seek. But he's pretty much been kind of quiet on the radio with his car.
Yep, so for Seymour Butts, he's really just going to have to pray for some sort of incident involving more chasers that are in front of him, and he's going to have to hope to keep his car a little bit more clean than that if he wants to move on in this round of 12 or get out of the round of 12 and move on to the next stage of the points.
There's the 14 down pit lane. Emmanuel Hartnett. Looks like they're investigating the damage. Thank goodness there isn't a 5-minute clock. You know how those are in the crash damage clock. But yeah, they took the hood off the 14 car, so definitely they're going to be off the pace here. But Hartnett's got to persevere to see if there's any more carnage in 4th for that number 14 team. But I think as of right now, their chances are pretty much down the drain.
Yeah, like I said earlier, just going to have to pray for another incident or something like that just to get your car some more valuable points to move you on in the next round of this points, the championship here.
Otherwise, looks like we have no retirees here, but Robbie Jackson, currently your leader, Chris Dodd in that 2nd spot, Alex May in car number 43 in 3rd, Rancho Cucamonga, the 2nd highest running chaser, running in 4th, and Kyle Matthews, your top 5.
Got quite a few chasers up in this top 5. You got Jackson, you got Cucamonga, and you got Matthews looking to have some solid points day running up front here. Let's see if they can keep it that way when the pace car brings them back around to that green flag.
Keeping an eye on the chase update here, Charles Sandfer, like we mentioned, he's locked in no matter what with that win at Road America. He's been one of the more consistent drivers on the circuit. He doesn't really need to worry where he finishes because he's going to get those bonus points just because of winning a race in that round. And, you know, a bit further up, Lily Gordon kind of in the middle of the pack there. Same thing with Stephen Paul III, Christian Master, and much more. There's Sekuli, Rodriguez, Schwallenberg. And those cars are slowly going to have to make their way upward to the front here, as the pace car is going to round the tri-oval there, and Robbie Jackson will be taking us to the green.
Should be a crazy start here. We already see some guys making moves to gain some positions off the line. It doesn't really look like much has changed, though, but we should see them go back 2 by 2, how they were earlier, and hopefully they can keep it a little more clean this time. Have a nice fair fight to the finish.
Yep, indeed so. Chris Dunn, you saw him in the 15 fold out of line. He's already going for that race lead. That's how aggressive these drivers will get on these restarts here. They're going to be desperate for a win here. Even here in the chase or not, you've got nothing to lose, really. Well, especially the non-chasers and those eliminated. But those in the back of the point stands in terms of, like, in the cutoff line, they have to get up there if they want to get themselves a lot of points on the circuit here, because just finishing inside the top 10 while other championship contenders are struggling could really help your chances.
We see Hernandez and Johnson looking to get that 3 maybe a little bit loose, kind of draw them up the track, but didn't look like it was going to happen there. We're going to see if they try to make a move going into the tri-oval, but it looks like Cucamonga is going to maintain the lead here through lap number 7 on to 8.
See, a couple of cars are already fanning out here, so I don't know if they're losing the draft. They just didn't get the good start that they really expected, really. As you see, it's kind of separated into a bit of 2 different packs here. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. Corey Williams on that edge of that first pack there, Stephen Paul the third there. I think they're all trying to work together to get back to that first pack, but they've really scrambled near the back half of the field.
Yeah, those guys from 19 on back, they're kind of keeping it fanned out. Maybe they just want to get in a straight line and have some speed to maybe catch up to the pack, but they're kind of racing all over the place. I'm not too sure if that's really going to help them out in the later stages of this race if they're going to be that far behind.
It could be that, or they're just very conservative with their cars right now. There's no rush because the main pack is pretty much battling it out here. You see these cars in the front pack basically going 3 wide, multiple rows deep, so I think a lot of them are playing conservative here, but some are just not that fast right now.
No, a lot of them are just kind of hanging back there, just kind of chilling, waiting behind these cars. Maybe they're looking forward to another wreck. Maybe they're looking forward to the big one. Maybe they need some time to avoid. We're going to see what happens, though.
Yeah, a lot of them playing single file train though. It's pretty cool actually when you see that sometimes, because it does show how dedicated some of these drivers will be to their partners. That as well as just trying to stick together, so at least they know what they could do at the end of this one. Obviously, it's fair game within those couple laps. That's when like you don't really have any partners. You just go for that win automatically. As you see there, a battle for the lead. It's really been a constant lead change after lead change here at Daytona, but that's the nature of this super speedway.
It's just how this track works. You're going to see lead changes probably every lap.
There's
These
some
guys are
four-wide
three
action
wide.
there.
Yeah, 4 wide up here. You got Schwanberg, one of the chasers, is sitting up there as well as the 89. They better keep that clean if they want these cars to be unscathed coming out of Daytona and hopefully get them a win or solid point state and move them on to the next round.
Yep, they backed off indeed. Schwallenberg gave him some space there. That was an aggressive move by Pollard there. And also the cars on the inside as Johnson Zakuli now looking underneath for that race lead. Alex May giving him a nice shot there with Cole Baker not too far behind and Cody Lamas.
Yeah, they are 3 wide for the lead up here. I mean, they're 3 wide just about everywhere on this track.
I believe that secondary pack you saw, they've now merged into one massive pack now. So, you notice, like we mentioned, those cars going single file, you notice the drivers that were back there, they're still hanging on. So, one mistake, though, from one of the front runners could cause a massive collision and a lot of wrecked race cars here. Alex May now to the race lead.
And they are keeping it clean for this 3 wide racing. I'm very surprised with that early incident that they've been able to keep it that way. Hopefully they keep it clean and they, like I said earlier, they have a nice fair fight to the finish. I would hate to see a lot of these chasers get taken out here at Daytona. It's a very, very crazy track in the chase.
Very unpredictable indeed. Cody Lamas and Colt Baker pushing each other to the front here. The Gibbs entry trying to get some lap times in and some recognition in the series here. But Cody Lamas is going to make it 3 wide. Sakuli actually leads the lap that time around. But Lamas fighting on the inside.
There's fighting all over the track right now. All over this front pack there. Just 3 wide everywhere. It looks like a few of them might have got the wall. I could just be misseeing some things, but they've kept it going.
Yeah, I did see the 10 car hit the wall bit into turn number 1. That was Steve Pollard there. But it looks like you see these cars, they're just scrambling for track position all over the racetrack though. So it's, I think if you're on that inside line within I'd say 4 laps to go, you might be in a good position to actually win this race here.
And this part of the race is basically just all about setting yourself up for later. You just want to be in that right position at the end. Being out front here, sure, it'll get you a few extra bonus points if you're leading the laps, but towards the end of the race, you need to be the guy that's making the moves up front. You can't really be that guy that's holding, especially all these cars behind you are all gunning for the win. It's hard to maintain that lead when you have every single one of these cars just fighting for positions constantly.
Yeah, these cars don't really need to worry about pit stops as the NASCAR set up to where they don't have to worry about fuel at all. So looks like a lot of these drivers are just going full out. Tire wear isn't really essential here at Daytona. It is a little bit, but otherwise you just need the inside line because that's pretty much the dominant line. You can get a shot from the outside as you saw earlier, Sakuli leading the lap on the front stretch, but as a leader it's really kind of tough to break the draft honestly because you can get so loose as you see that 52 kind of wiggling a bit in the middle of the corner. It's like you could lose so much momentum.
Although this is a super speedway, if you carry too much speed into a corner from the draft, I mean, you're going to end up being shot way up high and someone's going to get below you. You can't just hold that bottom groove of the track all the way around when you're going, about 182 with these Xfinity setups here. See, the 52 even slid up more of that time and then let the 44 get around there, but I think the 44 is in that sucker hole. He might just fall right back.
Yep.
He's got a group behind him in that number 1 car, and that 6 is looking to fit in there with his Roush teammate, and we're going to see what they're going to be able to do towards the end. They even got the 60 up there as well. Roush has really put themselves in a position for teamwork. Maybe they'll get them up there at the end. Maybe get one of them a win here.
Roush Fenway has really found success here in this season. They haven't had all their cars in the chase, obviously, but most of their cars have at least found victory lane this season. Scott Roush, I believe, has won 2 races this season, And Keith Benson in car number 6 has found victory, but cars number 1 and 16 haven't really found much luck so far in the series. But even so, Roush Fenway has some speed here and there, and Lily Gordon's doing a great job of actually controlling that draft.
In the 52, Lily Gordon, one of the chasers, really holding that lead very well. I said earlier, it wasn't really that easy to hold that position, but making it look easy out there in that 52.
Doing a fantastic job, but Scott Roush has got a full head of steam on that inside line. The Advocare Ford Mustang looking to take advantage here, but here comes the 19 of Robert Pollard, James Qualls, and the Johanna Longmobile coming into the picture there. And look who's coming upwards. Eric Rodriguez in the 22.
Eric Rodriguez, one of the most, well, I wouldn't say dominant cars. He's got a couple wins this season. He's got, I think, the most out of the entire field with 3, and he is definitely looking to move on to this next round of the chase and looking to win him a title here. He is in points. He's currently 11th ahead of Seymour Butts. He needs to make up a few more spots if he wants to move up, though.
Eric Rodriguez certainly trying to gain some late race momentum here. He hasn't really had the best couple races lately, but with some others struggling in this race, this could help him move upwards in the point standings, but he's got to get up there as soon as he can. Lily Gordon, again, still holding on that lead. Josh Sekuli right there in second. Those two cars are just looking extremely strong.
Yeah, and Lily Gordon doesn't really need a win to move on to the next round of the chase, sitting there in third position. But a win here would be very nice. It hasn't had a win all season. A win in the chase would really help out their chances later on.
Yeah, her and Sekuli are pretty much... Sekuli is actually 8th in the point standings coming in here. Had a tough Road America race.
Sekuli also doesn't have a win either.
Oh yeah, like those two cars pretty much, if they just run where they're at, I think they're going to be clinched in no matter what. Besides Charles Sandfer, looks like our guaranteed 3 cars, as of right now, are going to be locked in. But lap cars could play a role here in the latter half of this race. You might want to look ahead, because you might want to compare the speeds of the main pack to those that have lost the draft and are just damaged.
It is really sad to see some of these yellow spoilers and yellow banners sitting this far in the back of the pack after a very early incident, and we said earlier that they're going to have to pray for incidents here, and they've kept it clean the entire time, but we're going to see how they pull up our leaders here and what speeds they might slow down a line to. Maybe one of the lines will get right by him if this car holds up one of them. We're going to see the 16 of Thomas just fly right by, and there's an incident.
Oh, that's going to be a big crash. That's the huge one here at Daytona.
That's the big one.
That's the big one. Oh my goodness, what a disaster for a lot of them, especially Lily Gordon, a couple of others. One car upside down.
Up and over. I think that's Pollard, maybe.
That's
Pollard's
Pollard.
Knocked around there. And
I think that is that's Steve Pollard actually in the 10, but that's a lot of cars wrecked. That might be a very controversial move, but you saw Annie Thomas flying through that past the leaders.
Thomas.
She had a really good run there.
Thomas got right around that car, and as soon as she got around it, I mean, the insanity just started.
Look at the amount of damaged race cars in that, though. That was a huge wreck, though, but a lot of them did a good job slowing down for the wreckage, too, so a lot of cars got swept up in it, but at the same time, a lot of them did a good job of just hitting the brakes just fine.
And we were just talking about Lily Gordon maybe being able to get that win of the season, but does not look like it's happening now. It's got rear end damage on that car. James Qualls must have had a huge hit. That hood is in front of the windshield. I'm not even sure how he's driving that thing currently. Dylan Schwanberg.
Him.
Yeah, I guess so. Dylan Schwanberg also looked like he might have gotten a piece of that one. I think he did.
Back end damage, looks like.
Man, huge wreck to bring out the second caution of the day. Unfortunately, lap traffic just wasn't really enough. I thought they'd be able to get around that, no problem, but looks like they were just driving a bit too fast, and I don't think that the 14 really knew where to go. Sekuli, I'm sure. Okay. Yep, I'm sure Sekuli is reaping the benefits of this up in third place now. I'm not too sure if there's any damage on that number 4 flex shot car. Eric Rodriguez also getting stuff.
Yeah, Hartnett. Oh, he went up the racetrack there. Look at the avoidance Sekuli did. A lot of drivers did a great job of just swerving past the wreck, but otherwise, cars on the outside line were kind of bottled up in that. Robbie Jackson, one of our chasers, got involved in that, actually. Obviously, Lily Gordon was in the center of that. Dylan Schwarmberg, he did get run over. Scott Roush collected. Kyle Matthews, another chaser, involved there. Rancho Cucamonga got back-end damage out of that, but that was a huge wreck there. That was a very pivotal point for a lot of those that avoided the wreck, too, especially like Eric Rodriguez, a couple of notables there. Obviously got through the wreck there. Christian Master got through the wreckage as well. Sakuli, you saw him swerve through that wreck as well. So a lot of drivers were pretty lucky, and others weren't so lucky as well.
Yeah, and you have to feel for that number 15 of Dodd as well. He's not a chaser, but he was running up front, having a very good day at the front of the field, and just got caught up in an incident that he really couldn't do nothing about. Same with that 70 of James Qualls. Very unfortunate.
We'll definitely get some retirees after this one. That was a huge wreck there. Couple of cars on the apron. I think Andy Thomas has an issue with her car.
Oh no, got through that wreck all right. We're gonna see if she's gonna pull that in the pits. I mean, running on that bottom line.
She is in the lead right now.
I'm not too sure what's up with that number 16 Lily Diabetes Ford, but we're gonna have to see when they come around. Maybe she'll rejoin in line coming off the backstretch. Not too sure. Maybe something could be up with the engine. I'm not too sure. Overheating. Could be a lot of things that happen in that number 16, but hopefully they keep it going. I mean, getting through that wreck, that was some wheel work right there to just avoid everything. Very smart heads up to get around that lap car like she did. I would hate to see it just all thrown away like that.
I think she's reported she's having issues because it's unordinary and or unorthodox to see cars on the apron like that. So normally they have an issue. So I think Annie Thomas might be having one of those issues today, and that really is a heartbreak. Or that 16 car. You saw her just flying past the leaders too.
Oh yeah, that was the first thing I noted when I saw that 14 coming up. Just the way she dove it to the inside. No one else really dove it to the inside like she did. She was in the right position to get around that number 14 car. Unfortunately, other drivers were not in position to get around that 14.
I think Hartnett's going to be called to the hauler after that one. That was a bit of a controversial move there. You saw him just wash up the track. I know there's the etiquette of just trying to get out of the way, but at least for me, it just felt like he just kind of washed up. But you never know what happened there, truly. So, but because of Annie Thomas's issues, that's going to put JT Bryant to the point.
Yeah, it looks like the 16 is going to bring it to the pit road, and 98 is going to take the lead out of this one.
Can you imagine that Eric Almirola car actually winning just like in real life?
Oh, this car and Daytona have some history behind it. Would be very nice to see that 98 in victory lane, but I'm sure a lot of these other drivers have different ideas. And the 98 takes him to the green once again, hopefully for the last time of this race. I don't want to see any more incidents, especially this late in the race. We got 5 to go. Or 4 to go, excuse me. 4 dives it to the inside, same with Rodriguez, so it looks like the chasers are going to work together to get out of this one.
Certainly going to gang up together around the non-chasers. They know that points are on the line. Eric Rodriguez, he's pretty much, I think he's going to consider this a must-win situation as they're trying to run away from the rest of that field.
It's going to be a very great day for Eric. We're going to see if he's going to be able to get out of that bottom 4 in the chase there. I think he might with a great finish like he could have today. He's in the middle of this 3-wide situation. He doesn't really have the line behind him, though. But he gets around that 25, maybe. And it looks like he closed the door, so maybe the 22 could have some bonus points out of this lap.
You notice, I think a lot of cars are spreading out because of the damaged race cars on the track, so that might be the issue here at Daytona. That's why the field is so spread out and dispersed.
It's going to be down to these 9 or 10 cars up front here to see who's going to be able to come away with this victory at Daytona. And the 22 is doing a very good job of holding back that bottom line. A lot of chasers in that bottom line looking to move on. Same with that number 4 on that high side. We're going to see if he's going to be able to make it out of this one with good points. I think he will. He's in He's in 8th place in points.
Clinched in. I think if he just gets a top 15, he's pretty much clinched in because of where all the other chases are heading out. But you notice more cars joining the draft and paying attention to those drivers here. Don't count them out just yet. Here comes Jonathan Zorin, that 62. He's on the draft area there. And a couple of others could join into the fray.
Yeah, we'll see if Batson, the number 6 Roush car, is going to be able to get up there as well. And I think we already have lap traffic. We already have that 10 of Stephen Pollard kind of hanging out in front of these leaders. We're going to see if he causes any issues. I would sure hope not.
Wow, look at them split.
They are going to go 4 wider on that 10 car.
That was very risky. I think that was Rancho Cucamonga that actually split the gap there. That was a really risky move, but that might have been worth it because he's still in that draft.
And this 26, one of the chasers taking the point here, Master. And he kind of gives a lead up to Boston there. I'm not too sure what that was about. I think the low line would be where you want to be at. Coming here to 2 to go. It's going to be the white flag this time by, actually.
Yep, indeed so. 3 wide for the lead there. Marty Johnson following on toe. Cody Lamas in the mix as well, yet again, with teammate Jonathan Zorin. Rodriguez looks like he wanted to go lower on the racetrack there. He's going to go to the middle of the groove.
Coming on to the white flag, 1 to go. some crazy moves are going to have to be made to get yourself up to the point. We're going to see if these guys are going to be able to keep it clean, come to the line here, if we're going to have one of those spectacular Daytona finishes as we always do.
Kyle Keith really trying to block both lanes of the racetrack. He's got a good gap here, but that could be the case here for a sitting duck maneuver here. Let's see what Jonathan Zola and the others could do. Right now, he's got a good gap on the rest of the field. I think he might be able to get this unless they can hound him.
And I'm not too sure why that 62 jumped on that high line like that. I think the low line would be the one to take, but they could be all for nothing. That 42 has quite the gap on these drivers so far.
Let's see, Cucamonga's got a good run off the final corner, though. Look at the draft he's got. Here they come, rounding out turn 4. They're going to be side by side.
Cucamonga and Keith to the line, but I think it's going to be Cucamonga walking away with the win here. Very good race for that number 3 to keep it clean all the way at the end. Good win for Rancho here today.
That was a good clean pass. That was actually a pretty insane pass. If you were in Cucamonga's perspective, that was probably the clutch move they've wanted. They were 9th in points coming in, and with that, they advanced no matter what to the round of 8. Cucamonga is your race winner there. Good push there at the end from Warren Keith there. He's probably going to give him some thank you letters later on, but a lot of drivers that hadn't had the best of runs got good runs today, but others weren't so lucky, obviously, with that big wreck at the end. But let's see, notable chasers in that top 10 there. You notice the 25, not the 25, but the Ford car got an 8th place run. Eric Rodriguez got 9th. I think that might help him a bit here, looking at the points, because you see how tight they are from like 8th on back. So we'll have to see where the points really stand out. But Rancho Cucamonga has found victory lane again here. So congratulations to car number 3 there. He's certainly going to be very happy with what he got today.
Yeah, congratulations, Rancho Cucamonga, for putting on a great race towards the end, getting past that 42 with the help of that 7 and that lower line down there. Very good racing all day. We had a couple big incidents, but other than that, it was a very clean race.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Will Gus for helping me out in the booth here. It's really fun to have co-commentators here. That's when you bring a lot of personality and a lot of different kind of people and have very different perspectives and overviews of what racing is about. And that's what makes, I guess, off-end leagues or just anything really just with people and friends just very unique. So thank you very much for watching here. Point standings will be up here. It's going to be a very close battle here, so you're going to have to pay attention to where you will end up in terms of those that are in the chase here. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again.
Bye-bye.